Back in the mix with our guy Barretts here to talk winners and losers out of Week 12. Let's start with the positive. We don't have to dig too deep here, but your big winner is who?
Oh, it's Ohio State. How could we not pick Ohio State after all that they did against Michigan State, a top 10 Michigan State team? This wide receiving core is flat out filthy. C.J. Stroud's become, we talked about the Heisman Trophy favorite. The dude is an absolute weapon, and the defense played lights out against a really good Michigan State rushing attack. So I think right now, Ohio State solidified itself as the second best team in the country. I think the committee will show that. And I think at this point, you've basically cleared the way. Ohio State has momentum. They have Michigan next week. We all know how that's going to go. And in the Big Ten championship game, it's hard to imagine a Big Ten West team going point for point, running up and down the field with this group of Buckeyes. So Ohio State definitely the big winner.
As for the biggest loser here coming out of Week 12, tell me why it's the Oregon Ducks.
Because of the score? because they got absolutely annihilated by Utah. And look, they were a 3-point underdog going into this game in Salt Lake City. I think a lot of folks looked at that like, I don't know, Vegas might know something. Well, Vegas did know something. They knew that Anthony Brown was not a championship caliber quarterback, and this Oregon Ducks offense was not what it was cracked up to be before the season. So Oregon completely out of the college football playoff race. And I'll do you one further. I think the Pac-12 can also be the biggest loser because it's not going to have a playoff team again. The last time they had a playoff team was 2016 against Washington. I think we all know what happened when the Huskies faced Alabama.
Barrett, fantastic stuff. As always, we appreciate the insight here in Week 12. And don't forget, there's only one place to be for all your college football needs. That's with our team on the Cover 3 podcast. Barrett and the whole team break it down week in and week out as the college football playoff picture continues to come into focus. Join the conversation right now with the best in the business. Download, subscribe, follow, enjoy the Cover 3 podcast everywhere your podcasts are found. For more on the numbers next to the names, we say hello to CBS sports analyst Jerry Palm. JP, only one place to start here, and that's with number 3's big misstep. The Ducks suffering their second loss of the season in a drubbing, no less. Give us an idea of how far you expect Oregon to fall.
Oh, they could fall completely out of the top 10. There's still some games going on that could impact that, but Oregon is going to take a big beating because just the quality of this loss, I mean, the beating that they took today, plus their other loss is Stanford. So Oregon's schedule is not good either. So this is a team that's going to be looking up at teams with similar records when Tuesday rolls around. They're going to fall pretty far.
A completely different script as the Ohio State Buckeyes put on a show. That was obviously the big win on the season for the Ducks, but all for naught. They get a top 10 opponent here in Michigan State, Ohio State did, and they do well with them. Elsewhere, Bama holding off on a solid Arkansas squad. Jerry, did the Buckeyes do enough to climb 2 spots in Tuesday's upcoming rankings in your eyes?
Yeah, I think they'll jump Alabama. The most impressive thing about the Ohio State win wasn't the 50-some points they scored, because Michigan State's pass defense was brutal, and we knew that could happen. It was holding that offense down to 3. I mean, that was the really impressive part of what Ohio State did. It was such a complete performance, and I think the committee is going to see that this team is the team on the rise, whereas Alabama, while they're still winning, hasn't been as impressive of late. And I think Ohio State is going to move up to number 2.
Yeah, the Silver Bullets have come into question in weeks past, but one of their better performances here on Saturday, giving the committee something to chew on. Jerry Palm is always chewing on the numbers here. Give us your projection, 1 through 6 here coming out of Week 12.
Well, Georgia's still number 1, of course. Ohio State 2, Alabama 3. I think Cincinnati's going to be 4. There's a bit of a case for Michigan to jump them based on strength of schedule, but I think last week would have been a better case than this week, especially with Cincinnati's performance. So Cincinnati 4, Michigan 5, and Notre Dame, who was also very impressive today, albeit against Georgia Tech, rounding out the top 6.
Nobody better than our guy, Jerry Palm, breaking down all the latest across the college landscape. Thank you, JP. All right, taking a look at that ranking once again. Hard to argue with it. Pretty much consensus. Really the only conversation to be had in that committee room right now is Ohio State number 2 or is Alabama number 2? The other will obviously be number 3. Georgia set to stay at number 1, still undefeated, 11-0 behind that outstanding defense, and Cincinnati, by all estimations, has done enough at 11-0. What more could you do? A win over Notre Dame possibly will finally find themselves on the inside of the top 4.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.